So I'm gonna go out tomorrow and do some jigging. I gotta redo one of my knots. I use a PR knot on my jigging poles. So I just want to show that, how I tie it, in case somebody wants to learn it. On my pole I use a PE braid. It's either a 2.5 or a 3. I don't remember off the top of my head, but then I put I think I got 60 pound mono, 50 pound mono that I use as a leader. Last time I went out I actually lost the lure and had to redo an FG knot on the water, which I don't like as much on my jigging poles. A little bit of that prep work before we go out. But I'm going to use a slow pitch setup. I'm using that one. It's a 150 gram, I should say. The pole I use is a metal witch, and it's got an eland tail walk for a reel. Great little light action slow jigging setup. Just cleaning up this old leader line. Alright, for the PR knot, I use a bobbin. There's a lot of different kinds. The ones they have out here look kind of like this. And all you got to do is there's a wheel on it that you can spin off. Feed your braid through the top of the bobbin. As we do this, you'll see why I don't do this on the water. This takes a few minutes to tie it, but it's a really good knot. I just do like a half turn around and then I lock that wheel back down. And then just keeping the line kind of tight. Do a few twists around the wheel. Once you get that, you're going to pop the wheel off. You go around the arm. I do about 3 or 4 turns. I don't think there's an exact number. And then just pop that wheel back on. And that just gives you enough tension so it doesn't free spool when you're winding it around your leader line. So when it's all said and done, you should have that. And you can kind of set that off to the side for a minute. Grab what you're going to use for your leader line. And you're just going to marry those two up. Leave plenty of tag in so you have room to tie it and play with it. Once you get your leader line, you literally just wrap that bobbin around a few times and then let it hang. Here's the tricky part, is when you start threading this or spinning it, you got to keep your thumb on it because it has a tendency to keep threading down and you want it to thread up so it goes back over those wraps. I'm actually going to do a few more. You don't need it to wrap real tight, you kind of want it long because this PR knot's really long. And once you get it where you want it, I kind of just wrap it around my finger to keep it tight. And then you literally, See, that's the problem. Not something I want to do on the water. If you do too many wraps, it's not a big deal. You can take it off at the tag end at the top. It's really just about getting this knot started. Once you start spinning it, once you get it going in the right direction, it's pretty easy. Watch out for the tag side of it, because that bobbin has a tendency to grab it, and that's a pain. And if it falls below your knot, it's easy to fix. You just gotta get it back on top. Once you get it started, just kind of do a couple wraps, and then all you're gonna do is grab the knot, and your pressure, your fingers will keep it going in the right direction. So you do it a couple spins, move your fingers up, and you just work about ½ an inch at a time. You can get a good rhythm, you can keep it going, but try to make sure, the thing is to make sure it stays tight. Once you get here, and your bobbin's all the way at the top, hold your knot nice and tight, and then you can literally just pull, and it'll unwheel itself from below, and right back at it. Again, there's a ton of tutorials on how to do this. There's probably 5 or 6 different variations of bobbins. This just happens to be the one I have. Didn't see a lot of videos with this specific one, so I'm gonna add mine out there. But what's good about this knot compared to like the FG knot, which is also real popular, is the low profile. Strength-wise, I don't know if there's necessarily a difference between the PR knot and the FG knot. People swear by both, so I think it's a personal preference thing. They're both great knots, without a doubt. But this one's got a much slimmer profile, and with jigging, going through the very small eyelets on the poles is where it's really important. And no, I've never hit myself with the bobbin. I can feel you wondering that question. I might now, since I've mentioned it. Just about at the end of my leader line, so I'll do this one last little wrap. We'll finish it up. Alright, now, so when it's all said and done, that should be the knot. That's that real thin profile, going from that braided model, long knot, nice and strong. Now, to finish it, this part's not too critical. It's already bound pretty tight. Just keep it pinched near the top. You can let all this go. You can just unthread the rest of that line. From here, you can do really any kind of knot. I just do the overhands. Do about 2 or 3 overhand knots. You just want to make sure that you get both your braid and the mono. Once you get one in there, you can pull it tight, and then you should be alright. You can work with your hands a little more freely. Not a hold at this point. There's no pressure coming on it, so it should not unravel. Now you just kind of have to deal with the line wanting to spin around itself because you wound it up so tight. So try to get all those natural twists out. about 3 or 4 of these overhand knots just to make sure that it's tied down nice and tight. Alright, so now what I'll do with this little tag end is wherever I put my scissors at, you can cut as close as you can to that knot without actually cutting the braid, obviously. And then take that tag braid and you're going to do a couple more overhand knots. You want to try to cover that little tag end of the mono so it doesn't have like a sharp point, I guess, when you're winding back in the eyelets. You don't want it to grab coming in either. And some people, you know, they'll swear about doing all these different knots to tie it up. I've done this a ton of times just using the overhand knots, and it's worked great. A little tug to make sure it's tight, and then we'll cut off the tag end of the braid. And there we go. It's my PR knot. So 50-pound mono to a 2.5 or 3 PE braid. And that'll go straight through the eyelets, the reel, and it allows me to put a good amount of leader line on here. Now, to tie all my lures and hooks and all that stuff, I use the same knot for everything. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know the official name of it. I've always just called it a fisherman's knot, but I'm sure everybody's seen it. Just go through and twist the line about 6-7 times. Take that tag in and go right back down through the bottom little eye, or of the line. See, right there. And then just wet it and pull it tight. There you go. Solid knot. Just cut that tag end off. Alright, ready for tomorrow.